Payday's here and the check is in the mail.
Payday, get to it.
We're coming in and feeling funky, and everything's getting loud because that's the way we start a party. We kick the door in.
That's right.
Turn the music up. Take your baby moms.
Well, don't bring her around. You don't want to lose her.
Don't bring your baby moms around here no mo. Or, please do. I'm try and hide this.
Either way.
All right, there we go.
Wow. Good to be here.
Here we are.
Here we are.
In such a familiar place.
It feels comfortable.
Yeah. It feels just as familiar as if we were here every week for the past 3 years.
But we weren't.
I am Victor Deuces Coco.
There you go.
Sitting across from Raymond Santiago.
Good evening.
Rest in peace. And we are the Gig Podcast once again. Sometimes we're the Gig, sometimes we're not. Crapshoot, yeah.
Depends on where you catch us. We're multi-platform.
Yeah. Let me tell you a little something about ice baths.
I was hoping that this is where you would start.
That's why we brought it over to the Gig, because I got a couple of bike things to talk about.
Right, but you're not bike heavy tonight.
I'm not bike heavy tonight, so we put it where it belongs. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's all right.
Ice baths.
There he is.
Are a gang of malarkey. Victor, if I had the soundboard up, you know what I'd say.
He's a good man.
Yeah, you're damn right I'd say it. So I'm listening. I'm old, dude.
I've heard.
It's over for me.
I don't know that plight, so I'll try to relate.
I've been trying to hang on for as long as I could, right?
As every man should.
And I think, let's see if it works.
He's a good man, actually.
There it is. I've been trying to hang on as long as I could, but I think that it's inevitable at this point that I am aging less than gracefully. Or maybe it is gracefully, I'm not really sure, but I'm hurting.
I have found that it all depends on who you compare yourself to, whether or not it's graceful.
Well, if I compare myself to the rest of the 37-year-old men walking around ShopRite,
you're good.
Then I'm looking like a young stallion.
Well, there you go. So that's what you do. You just put yourself up against weaker competition just so you can feel a little better.
No place disgusts me more than a ShopRite in New Jersey. And I don't know why. I'm not sure why, because I'm a regular guy. I feel like ShopRite is a regular guy store.
For sure.
Right? But every time I'm in ShopRite, the floorboards have to be under tremendous stress. The amount of overweight ShopRite customers stumbling around. Now, I'm not trying to pick at you, Pay. We know that you're a man of a certain age and a certain size.
Both things are true.
But I am disgusted when I go to ShopRite and go, why are we so fat and ugly here in New Jersey?
Well, ugly I can't help you with because I'm beautiful.
You are a handsome fella.
Fat, I can tell you a good portion of it is because it's so fucking easy to be fat.
It's
if you threw discipline to the wayside for like 3 months, you'd be fat at the end of the 3 months. It's so easy.
I was once a chubby kid, a chubby man, but I got back on top of my shit. Anyway, I'm saying all that to say, I'm hurting.
Okay.
Day in and day out, and actually, now another side. Let's take this side path before we get back to the.
Got anything better to do?
A favorite of mine, Joel Ortiz.
Oh yeah.
Who I've been noted as saying, Joel Ortiz is what an MC is supposed to be. If you went back to 1979 and asked Grandmaster Kaz, you said, hey, what's an MC look like in the 20 teens and 2020s?
Right.
He would explain what Joel Ortiz does.
Yeah. That's the final evolution. That's the Swiss Army knife of rap.
So he came out with a song recently. I don't know how new it is or how, but it's recent, called something about an OG.
Okay.
And he starts off with the bars of like, I wake up, my elbows crack and my back hurts. And I'm like, he's right.
Yeah.
He's like, and I'm thinking like, nah, I'm just sore from the day before because I worked out or because I, worked hard. I'm coming to realize like, no, I'm old and I'm waking up hurting.
Correct.
No matter what, I'm waking up sore. Things are cracking, muscles hurt.
Right.
Inflammation is running rampant through my skeletal system.
Yes.
So I'm looking for solutions.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
And where does a 37-year-old lower middle class white guy, blue collar white guy go for solutions when he has life problems?
GNC.
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
we look to the JRE, to the Joe Rogan Experience for all the answers on life.
Sure.
And I was listening to him because he had Killer Mike on.
Okay.
I'm not a normal Rogan listener to it. It depends on who the guest is.
It's exactly right. I pick and choose. I think he can be very good, but sometimes depending on the guest, they just go.
When he gets too smart,
they get off the road.
Yeah, dude, you're getting too smart.
Right.
That's not what you're about.
You didn't build your audience to be scientists.
Nah, dude, get out of the science stuff. I respect that you're a man seeking knowledge.
Yeah.
Great, but we want to hear Killer Mike.
Right.
And Ari Shafir.
Right.
And we want to hear Shane Gillis get hammered drunk.
Sure.
That kind of thing.
Just listen to you argue with Bill Burr all day.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
So he just in passing mentions the carnivore diet since going on. Oh, that's the we got 15% on the soundboard.
Oh, that's the soundboard. Okay.
The carnivore since starting the carnivore diet, his inflammation is gone down by his claim of 90%.
Okay.
So I start kind of thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, dude, maybe that's why everything's hurting so much. I got a lot of inflammation going on. I eat healthy, but I also have the sugar intake of a 7-year-old on November 1st. And I get all of my sugar via 4 cups of coffee during the day, a protein shake at night, and salted cashews for a little bit of snack. Salted caramel cashews.
Okay.
Tremendous. So I think that my sugar intake's very high.
Okay.
And that's going straight to the joints. So I'm looking for a solution. So the carnivore diet sounds great if it'll solve it, but I don't imagine... I need vegetables. I can't picture a diet being healthy without vegetables.
Carnivore doesn't. Carnivore's just straight meat all the
You're
time.
You're eating meat and eggs every day.
That's it. And there is no
Yeah.
See, I would think vegetables would be a part of it, but so another part. So Novak Djokovic, a very famous tennis player. He hit a point in his career where like he's getting old, my joints are hurting, all this stuff, and then he went gluten-free.
Yeah.
And he said after like 3 months, all the inflammation kind of just subsided, and he could eat everything else he wanted, just stayed off the gluten, and it just like it straightened out his stomach and it straightened out his joints, and he like went on a whole nother run of success.
Right. Well, here's the thing. I'm relatively gluten-free already.
Okay.
I don't do bread. I might have a piece now and again, but it's not a lot of wheat in my diet because to me wheat is useless calories.
Okay.
It's not really powering you.
Okay.
I'll have some complex carbs in the morning occasionally with an oatmeal, but I haven't even been doing that. I've been having frittatas in the morning.
Okay.
Or quiche, if you ask
Depending
you.
on how you make it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that got me thinking. I don't think I could do the carnivore diet, but then as I'm listening to something else, somebody makes a claim of how wonderful. Him and Tom Segura, actually, later episode.
Okay.
They're talking about the wonders of an ice bath.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm not a cold weather guy, dude.
You're not a cold anything guy.
I like the heat. So this ice bath thing has it's escaped me for a decade. I've understood that this is supposed to be some kind of wonderful solution.
Right.
And I've just went, nah, the cold showers in the morning and ice bath thing, I'm good. I don't care what it does for you. I'm passing, right?
Right.
But now that I'm realizing how old and inflamed I am, I'm willing to give an ice bath a shot. So, okay, I go to the gym. I had no wife and kids for 2 weeks, so I can go to the gym first thing in the morning, 5 a.m.,
right.
get done at 6, and then I got a whole nother 2 hours before I got to be at work.
Right.
So I could do all types of things. On my way back, I stop at the South Jersey staple, Wawa.
Sure.
Where else do you go for a bag of ice when in Jersey?
Can't think of it.
You can take a sip of my protein coffee.
Please do.
This is okay. Not great, but it'll do. I get 2 bags of ice because I think to myself, I'm going to fill my tub up with cold water, put 2 bags of ice in there. That should be good.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
The problem was that it was 97 degrees at 6 a.m. that morning, and all the pipes running into the house were already insulated with hot ground. So I'm going in there trying to make an ice bath. I threw the bags in their hole, and they almost melt immediately.
Right.
So I'm like, damn. I could run to the freezer, and I grabbed the big ice bucket. You know, our freezer has
ice maker.
Yeah, it has its own ice maker. So that's filled up. So I'm like, all right, turn the water all the way down, pour this in, stop using the water from the bathtub.
Right.
And I'm pouring. I got a jug from the blender jug.
Okay.
I'm filling that with water. In the meantime, our big spaghetti pot is filling with water. So I run back to the spaghetti pot, switch them out. I'm trying to keep this. I'm trying to get this ice bath. I'm butt naked, 6 o'clock in the morning. All the windows are open. It's 97 degrees, and I'm running back and forth trying to get my ice bath set up, just so I can make my knees feel better for the day.
Well, yeah, you don't want to go around crippled when you can so easily tend to your knees.
Yeah. So this whole ice bath thing.
Why didn't you just go back to the Wawa and buy more ice? It's not that far. You don't even have to go out onto a main road to get to the Wawa.
Would have threw my schedule off. I had to walk the dog and watch some YouTube shorts before I went to work too.
I didn't realize you hadn't watched the shorts yet. I apologize.
Yeah. So I get it all in there, right? And I put my hand in. I'm like, okay, we're feeling kind of cold.
Okay.
But they're saying like 35, 40 degrees.
Right. It's feeling cold for you.
Yeah.
It's not really ice bath cold. It's just showing cold.
Yeah. But I want to know how cold it is.
Right.
So I grabbed the meat thermometer from off of the grill. Now, I thought it was in the drawer, which it's not, and I'm wasting valuable moments of this ice now melting.
Water sizzling again.
So I'm like, where the hell where is my meat thermometer? Right? With my meat thermometer swinging around. So I'm like, it's out at the grill.
Well, yeah.
It's early enough that my neighbors aren't out. I could run out and I could scurry out real quick with my fucking cheeks blowing in the wind and grab my meat thermometer, which I do. I check the bath. It's at a balmy 59 degrees.
Okay.
So I'm like, well, I have to do it. I have to take this.
Yeah, you got to take the test. You got to take the plunge, if you will.
I got to take I hesitate to call it an ice bath.
No.
More of a room temp bath.
Well, it's 59 is cold enough to me from what I've experienced that, like, if we went to the pool on that 97 degree day and it was 59 at the
freezing,
pool,
your lips will be blue.
A lot of people wouldn't get in.
No, I won't.
Right.
I don't touch a pool until 80 degrees.
So it's cold enough to be discomforting, but it's not ice bath cold.
Yeah. So I get in, and here's the other thing. It's a lot harder than you think for a fully grown man to submerge himself in a bathtub.
Or a tub, yeah.
Like, I'm trying to get all body parts under, right?
Right.
I'm up to my belly button, like my legs are under, and that's the most important part. I want to get my knees iced down, right? And then I'm like but it's 59 is still too cold for me.
Well, yeah.
I can't get my upper half in, and I'm freezing. I'm shivering in a not-so ice bath. The ice is gone now at this point. At one point, as I'm filling up, I grabbed the blue gel ice packs from the freezer and threw those in for an extra little help. But to my dismay, I couldn't get it below 59. So they're saying, you stay in for a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Right.
I set my timer for 3 minutes, which seems to fly by, right?
Well, yeah.
So it was quick. I add another minute. I'm cold now. It's cold, dude.
You're acclimating.
Yeah, but I'm in there for 4 minutes, right? I'm like, all right, this should definitely be enough for my inflammation to be eliminated for the day.
You should have like a kid's knees at this point.
Yeah. As it turns out, the only benefit of the ice bath, the only inflammation that is gone was the inflammation in my nuts, cause my nuts were shrunken the entire day.
Tucked up in your stomach.
Bro, I spent a whole day with the nuts of a 6-year-old. Which I guess that's cool if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for
that's going to be good for the soundboard.
Yeah, if you're looking for testicleplasty, no need to go to the doctor. An ice bath a half a ice bath, a not so ice bath will be sufficient for a testicle lift.
Okay.
But my knees felt exactly the same as they always do. My legs hurt, and there's nothing to it.
Were you anticipating that, like, you would jump in the cold water and jump out and feel brand new? Like, was that the thought in your mind that for years you've gone with kind of crippled knees, and all you needed to do was sort of get them cold, then you would have been fine? Then wouldn't you just be fine all winter?
Maybe I didn't think that. I don't always think things through. I know I'm a thinking man.
You are.
But not always do I follow the entire train of thought.
You all right?
I am. I need some water or something.
Is it from the ice bath?
It's from the too much nicotine at one shot, I guess.
Oh, okay.
When the Zins are good, but if there's a line that if you cross, it's like a little bit.
The ice bath is not going to be a insta fix. The ice bath is going to be if you start doing like you do your workout and then you immediately take the ice bath, and it's like blanching a fruit. Like you just stop the overproduction of lactic acid, and then you're going to be less sore next day. But it's a regimen. It's not a one-time thing. It's not knee surgery. I
thought maybe with one bath I would get a little bit of relief.
Just something to show you that you should continue down the path.
Whew, I'm not too good. I think the problem is the Zin on top, like this protein coffee.
The Zin and then the coffee.
I only took a couple sips of it, but stick with us here.
While we watch our host, this is going to be our highest rated show while we watch you perish.
Phew.
So what we've learned so far, if I can recap and give you a minute to collect yourself.
Please do.
When you go to Wawa, you should buy at least 6 bags of ice at a time.
You need more than 2 if you want an ice bath.
Nobody should have their windows open when it's 97 degrees out one way or the other, because all you get is boiling water out of the tap if you do that. And an ice bath is not a miracle cure. It's part of a larger picture. And more importantly, you shouldn't listen to Joe Rogan when there's smart people on the show.
Well,
sciencey smart people.
There was no smart people on the show.
That's why I said you shouldn't listen to it when there's sciencey smart people on there.
Yeah, so ice baths are a bunch of malarkey.
Right.
Is basically what the bottom line is. And I know that for a fact because I took a not so ice bath one day for 4 minutes. So I am fully prepared to say that the idea of an ice bath is skullduggery. And I'm going to prove it by maybe taking another ice bath.
Right. Just to show everyone.
Just to show that it does not fix my knees after 4 minutes. So, the Gig podcast started out as a place where we told stories of juvenile delinquency, back alley, hand-to-hand situations.
Right.
We talked about Poppy Store platters.
Yeah.
We've discussed a whole lot of PCP. That's been a
mainstay.
It's a thread that's weaved throughout the subject of the Gig podcast, most every episode.
Right.
And I thought of a story that I haven't thought of in a while.
Okay.
And I made mention of it to you in passing this week.
Okay.
But I don't even know why it popped into my head, but it did.
Okay.
So as a juvenile delinquent, at about 16, I wind up at this lovely facility, the lovely facility of Daytop.
Sure.
Which...
the inspiration for all of this.
On a side note, there is an album coming out based loosely on the happenings and happenstance of Daytop called Juvie Music.
Juvie Music.
by Payday Jones. We're just getting the artwork together and it will be released. So some of these beats that you hear in the background, you might hear on Juve Music.
You might be able to throw it on Spotify, drive around, listen to it, enjoy yourself.
Yeah. So, I'm in Daytop because of my shortcomings in the world of being a law-abiding citizen.
You hadn't found your way yet.
That's true. And most everybody who was in Daytop with us was sent there by a probation officer, by a parole officer, by a peace officer,
why else
a judge, a prosecutor.
Why else would you be there? Was voluntary an option?
There was a couple of weirdos who were there voluntary.
Okay.
There was a couple of those, which, you know, they seemed to be like the kids who came from upper crust families,
right,
and smoked a lot of reefer.
Right.
Like the one girl.
They're putting on a show for the judge.
One girl who wound up being a very good friend of mine throughout the incident.
Okay.
A young lady named Corey.
The incident.
A young lady named Corey who came on the same day as me. Me, okay. Mikey Hove, and Corey Coop all came on the same day.
All right, good.
Mikey Hove was sent to Daytop because he was sticking up Chinese delivery drivers at 16.
Oh, okay.
So he caught a little bit of a charge there. I think something to do with shotguns that they did a B&E to obtain or something like that.
So Daytop this is the first time I'm connecting that. Daytop is not just a youthful rehab center.
No, it was a because at this point my drug issues were not very heavy.
Weren't that bad.
No, this was a behavioral they called it a therapeutic community.
Sure.
It was like a behavioral thing.
Okay.
It was boot camp without the PT.
Without the boot.
Yeah. So, Corey, me, and Mikey Hove all come on the same day, right?
Okay.
And Mikey Hove, who became my man for years and years and years afterwards,
right?
Until he did, whatever. That fizzled out at a point, right? And Corey Coop was the third wheel to us because we all came the same day.
Okay.
Now, Corey Coop was from the neighborhood where Daytop was at, which is Mendham, New Jersey.
Okay.
There's not a house in Mendham that was selling for less than $7,500. $750,000 at the time, and this is 2002. Wow. The dog is exploding in here. There might be poop on the floor.
I checked.
$750,000 homes.
Okay.
And those are the low end, right?
Right.
So this is it's rolling hills of Chatham County. Is that a county?
I think it is, yeah.
Morris County.
Morris County?
Morris, Chatham. These beautiful rolling hills of North Jersey. It's where if you were making money on the stock market, you move to Mendham.
Where you go.
You're making big money on the stock market.
Right.
You park your Bugatti in a Mendham driveway.
Right.
So Corey Coop is from this neighborhood.
Okay.
Hove's coming straight from the joint. Okay. He's coming from some juvenile detention center in Middlesex County.
Okay.
And I am coming from an all-night bender in which I fell asleep and woke up at the front door of Daytop.
Okay.
To a phone call of my PO telling me if I leave, she's sending me to Jamesburg, which is juvenile prison. So, but Corey Coop was like a cheerleader, and she got into a car accident with a friend of hers who was like smoking weed and driving. So then she got sent to Daytop. I don't know how. I'm not sure of all the happenings of it, but nope, wrong one.
How high? Well, how high is appropriate for here?
Wrong one. I'm looking for it. Hold on. I'm looking for it. I don't know where it's at.
I mean, they didn't move. They haven't moved in 2.5 years.
I haven't used them though. I'm looking for. It's not this. Is it this? That's true. Here it is.
I'm just another nigga from the beach. You can tell by my speech.
I got you, Balk. I had to find it. You haven't showed up in so goddamn long. We lost your button. We lost your button, Baxter. So she's like a cheerleader.
Right.
She gets into this little car accident, gets sent to Daytop. So there are, like, her parents sent her there.
Yeah.
So there are voluntary members of this facility.
Yeah.
I don't happen to be one of them, nor is Mikey Hove. Probably 95% of us were court mandated in some fashion
Right.
for some kind of drug-associated crime or violent crime. It's because it's a behavioral, like, management joint.
Right.
So there's dudes who got caught. There's a couple brothers from Newark who got caught selling crack. There's guys like Mikey Hove who did B&Es for shotguns. There's guys like me who just can't follow the rules on probation.
Right.
And then there's like 3 or 4 kids whose parents sent them here, and they were kind of the joke of the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Because we kind of looked at them like, what are you doing?
They're like the nerds.
Just walk off.
Right.
Go. Just leave. You can leave. You can walk out of here.
Yeah.
No handcuffs. So, let me paint you another picture, right?
All right.
Now, not everybody was there for a drug-associated offense.
Okay.
I would say more than half of these kids had some drug issues, though.
Okay.
At the time, I'm a reefer smoker. I fronted, when I was in Daytop, I was fronting like I was a angel dust kid.
Right.
And I was not. I had tasted angel dust a few times, but I faked myself right into a full-blown angel dust habit when I left Daytop. I kept saying I was a dust smoker. I got out of Daytop and then decided I was going to fulfill my dream of being strung out on angel dust. And so at 17 years old, that's what I did.
That's that thing where you do something ironically for so long that you actually just become that thing.
Yeah. And then there was another level, right? You had the voluntary kids.
Okay.
And then there was like another level of hierarchy where there was the crime guys.
Right.
The guys who got caught hustling or B&E, whatever, who are there because the other option is they would have been doing 3 years in Jamesburg.
Right.
And they looked down at the kids who had serious drug problems.
Right.
Right? Like, we were looking at the kids who were doing smack and smoking crack, and we were like, yous are some fiends. Like,
right.
You're 15 years old and you're doing heroin? What the hell's wrong with you?
Right.
And we would make that known in groups, and like there was a very unspoken kind of like, we're not you guys, and that means we're better than you guys.
Right.
Now, all of those dudes probably wound up strung out shortly thereafter, but at the time we held a little bit of a position of power because we didn't have drug problems.
Right.
But 60% or so of these kids did. And it was the first time that I ever encountered like 16-year-old kids who were doing heroin.
Okay.
You know, like we were popping pills. We were eating Percocets or Xanax and stuff like that.
Low-end stuff.
But we were like, it was not a habitual. The only thing that me and any of my buddies at that time did habitually was smoke weed.
Okay.
Right? Did a little bit of drinking, but it was mostly just smoking weed every day and breaking whatever rules and laws we could. So they had the basis of this was like kind of a, like I said, it was like a boot camp without the PT.
Right.
So you wake up in the morning, you go to the morning meeting where you talk about what was dirty yesterday. And I think we maybe sung a song together or something. You know, like
nice.
it was real goofy.
Some kumbaya stuff.
If somebody felt sad. Oh, I remember this. Affirmations, right?
Right.
You would stand up, and maybe it wasn't an affirmation, but it was called something.
Oh, was this the boxing matches?
No, that's Encounter Group.
Oh, okay.
Affirmations was like, you would stand up in the morning meeting and you would go, I have an affirmation for Cousin Baxter. And then Cousin Baxter would stand up all like bashfully, right?
He's getting his kudos.
And I'd be like, cuz I gotta tell you, bro, you really know how to boogie. The way that those Reebok mid classics floated across the gym floor when we were on free time yesterday, unparalleled, cuz if you stick with this positive habit, your life is going places.
Right.
That kind of thing, right?
I gotcha.
It was a big shit show.
Yeah.
It was a game, you know what I mean? Most of us, anybody with a brain,
right.
It was a big game to play.
Yeah. How do I con them into thinking I'm learning something and growing so I can get the hell out of here and get back to my old ways?
Exactly.
It's the perfect mindset for something like that.
Big game to play. And if you were intelligent, you realized it was a game.
Yeah.
And that's when it got even funner because like the guys who were playing the game,
right.
were trying to like outdo each other in particular situations, and then we go like smoke a cigarette behind the maintenance shed. Like, yo, you heard how I hit him with the pull-up? I'm saying they thought these suckers think we're for real.
Right.
I can particularly remember a kid named D'Lo, Mike D'Lo, who was an Italian kid from Eastwick, Elizabeth, New Jersey. Had cornrows in his hair. One of the only white guys who I felt was thorough enough to pull off cornrows.
Okay.
Him and Bunnyface, they both had cornrows.
Well, Bunnyface, I mean, it goes without saying.
Bunnyface is a gangster, bro. You wouldn't know it when you first look at Bunnyface.
As soon as you tell me his name is Bunnyface, I'm going to assume he's a gangster because you don't get like a light in the ass nickname like that without being able to hold it down. For it.
Yeah, Bunnyface is as thorough as they come.
Yeah.
He's now a photographer who takes pictures of Hawaii and sells them to Nat Geo.
There you go.
Made his way in this world. D'Lo, I assume, is probably selling powdered cocaine at a bar in Eastwick somewhere right now.
Everybody's got to get their money.
Yeah. But I can particularly remember playing the game with D'Lo and then like literally like giving a pull-up or an affirmation to somebody in morning meeting and looking at D'Lo like
the whole time.
Check me out.
Watch this.
Yeah, and he's like cracking, like trying to not crack up in the corner, like So, this is how it was broken down. You go to the meeting in the morning, and then you either go to school or you went to work. Because there were some kids who already had their GED. There was a couple of 18, 19-year-old. There was like a 20-year-old kid in there.
Okay.
And he was a volunteer, actually. There was a voluntary 20-year-old kid there. But since he was 20, he got respect, I guess, for that. We liked him.
Right.
He didn't get clowned. He was okay. But he was like a kid from Mendham who had a dope problem, and his mom knew somebody at Daytop, and they like instead of sending him to an adult joint, they sent him here.
He was sitting on the wall, and he got lucky to push on that side.
Mm-hmm. So, I remember his name, Sean Byers. And he was a good kid. He probably, I assume he's probably one of the guys who got his shit together and now is parking his Maserati in a Mendham garage.
Sure.
But if you didn't have your GED, you went to school, and they had the school set up like a street alternative school, right?
Okay.
Which I've also been to those, as it turns out, where like there's 6 kids in the class. And you sit in class, and they give you a worksheet, and you make fun of each other and throw spitballs at when the teacher's not looking, and then another teacher brings in like brownies with peanut butter in them, and then they give you an art class where like we just drew graffiti with paint markers.
Right.
And then after class, you would do chores. You had a job. You might have worked in the kitchen. You might have worked for the maintenance crew. You might have worked for. I've always seemed to work my way into a position of having to not do much.
Okay.
Right? I was on the gardening team at one point.
Yeah.
Me and Bunnyface ran the gardening team, which just meant that me and him and Maceface
just
went and sat out in the garden.
With a hose.
Chilling. So, anyway, all that, right? So we have school, and these teachers came in from outside, and they were always these old ladies who were probably retired from a real job and came to get this shit pay for, working at Daytop. And they were all pretty sweet, but also most of them, they weren't all there.
Okay.
There was a screw loose on most of them. And at some point, hold on, I got to make a note of somebody else at Daytop, which maybe we'll get to. They all had a screw loose.
Okay.
And at some point, they organized a field trip for us.
Okay.
Right? And so they're like, we got a field trip.
That sounds nice.
I think it was under the guise that they were trying to show us different career paths that we could take.
Okay.
So they, it's hard enough to keep a bunch of junked out teenagers and juvenile delinquents in class and behaving at the same time together. Right. Now they decide to take all of these junked out / juvenile delinquents on a field trip. So we're like, okay, where are we going? This is exciting.
Let's go outside.
And they tell us, but nobody's really paying attention to what they're telling us. We just know we're going to see the real world today, right?
Okay.
We take our little bagged bologna sandwich lunches and file onto two like church vans, right?
Okay.
Not everybody got to go, only the cream of the crop.
The well-behaved children.
And we're driving through these beautiful rolling hills of New Jersey without really any idea where we're going because none of us care. We're just trying to be out, maybe find someone who will bum a cigarette to us.
Right.
We pull up to the headquarters of Pfizer.
Oh, okay.
So we're like, whatever, what's it, a fucking office or a warehouse or some kind of plant? Like, okay, whatever.
Right.
And they're walking us through and talking to people, and I remember none of it, dude.
Well, no.
I remember none of what any of the things they were telling us or really what we were seeing. The only thing that I can vividly picture is the Pfizer sign. Now, I thought nothing of this at the time.
Right.
You know, I'm like, it was just a thing that they're trying to show us jobs or something. I don't know.
Right.
It struck me last week. I believe Pfizer makes Oxycontin.
No, they're not Oxycontin. Purdue is Oxycontin, but they should certainly make their share of
something or other
things. Yeah,
something cotton.
They're certainly they're certainly playing with poppy seeds in there.
It struck me last week, like, this is the wildest thing that you would take a bunch of drug-ridden teenage kids
to a drug plant.
To a drug plant.
Look at all the jobs you can have here.
And it comes into my head as like the same problem that we're having on a countrywide basis of where like these medical companies, these pill companies have so much more power than they need have.
Absolutely.
And it was like another reach. Like I would like to talk to who's the people on both sides who set this up. Like who at Pfizer reached out to Daytop, was like, hey, why don't you bring your drug addicts by? We could maybe show them a thing or two. Maybe, I don't know, maybe we get them all on Xanax before they leave. Just a thought. Okay. All right. Too much? All right. We'll back off. All right. No problem. Vicodin for everybody.
When you told me that, like, that was immediately my first thought. Was, like, of all, especially for where you were located, there's plenty of industry around.
Yeah.
They could have taken you through a Comcast building or an AT&T building. Like,
anything.
Plenty of other buildings that weren't specifically related to your soft spot. And that's the first day you got out, the first day you got to stretch your legs. That's what, don't forget, you can always just come here and work for drugs.
Yeah, wild.
That seems insane.
Who on the day, this also, I knew Daytop was crooked because it was just the people who ran Daytop and worked at Daytop were just ex-Daytoppers.
Okay.
Daytopians, as they call them.
They graduated to management?
Yeah, they graduated. Like, literally, there was like 21-year-old kids who were in charge of us who were in Daytop 2 years ago. So it's like, it's really like, if you're a loser who can't really find your place in the world, then just come be a loser over here.
I mean, you work your way up the ladder. It's the
all the way
dream.
up.
Yeah.
The guys at the top of Daytop were Daytop graduates from the adult program at some point.
I mean, I understand what you're saying and why you're mocking, but there is something to be said for that idea of, hey, here you are, you know, as a kid, you're in here. If you must, except for the volunteered kids, you must feel like this is doomsday.
Yeah.
Like, this is the worst. I'm never going to get out of here. I'm never going to straighten myself out. This is terrible. And then you see a couple people that at some point were in your position, and granted, I understand what you're saying, but they're at the top of this place. Okay, so maybe there is an opportunity for me to kind of square up and take care of this and get better and get out.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that the losers who couldn't get themselves a job at Home Depot could then go to Daytop and watch kids sleep for $10 an hour on the overnight shift.
Sure.
It's phenomenal. I'm glad there was guys like Rich, the priest.
Okay.
Who was a certified CADC, certified alcohol and drug counselor.
Okay.
The problem with Rich, though,
he was a priest.
Is he was a priest and had gotten brought out of handcuffs brought out of Daytop in handcuffs some short time later for diddling some of the Daytopians.
But that doesn't mean he didn't help some of them.
That's true. Now, I remember, so Rich wasn't my counselor.
Okay, good.
And we had a kid named Tweak. And Tweak was a G. Okay. But he was also crazy.
Okay.
He wasn't
Tweak.
He wasn't all there. But Tweak was like the kind of kid who probably did much better in prison than in a program like Daytop.
Okay.
Like Tweak was meant for the streets. He wasn't a get his life together kind of kid.
He was for Rome.
Yeah. He was for Rome. He was for the streets. So Tweak was trying to tell us. He's like, I'm telling you, Rich is a child predator.
Right.
And we're like, yeah, all right, Tweak. Whatever.
Whatever, crazy guy.
Yeah, sure. Because
the priest knew what he was doing.
Well, Tweak was talking filthy about everybody, so it was just Rich, the priest, was just an easy target. Yeah. Like, yeah, of course you're going to say he's a pedophile.
The priest was smart. He's like, I'm going to pick on the guys that no one believes.
Yeah. So Rich is not my counselor, right? But he would like come by and say something here and there to me, and I'm fine and friendly to him.
Yeah.
He was like, why don't you come in the office? I forgot that this happened. Why don't you come in the office? You sit down and you can have a session with me. I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. So I waddle in with my Maurice Francois Gerbeau jeans on. I said it all backwards. Got my Gerbeau jeans on. And a 4X Galaxy t-shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Tucked in because we weren't allowed to wear. We weren't allowed to let our t-shirts hang.
You don't look sloppy, no.
Now, they wouldn't let us let our t-shirts hang, dude. And this was smack in the middle of the t-shirt to the knees era.
Yeah.
So you eliminated half of my whole...
Your whole style.
My whole ego is gone now because I have to tuck my t-shirt in. Everything that I was made of emanated from that size 4X t-shirt that I stretched a little bit more when it came out of the dryer to get it down to my knees. Because there's nothing more manly than a white t-shirt dress.
Yeah, pretty much. A sundress with jeans underneath is the way to go as a guy.
That oozes masculinity. So I go in there with my t-shirt tucked in and my Gerbeaus and a pair of Bo Jacksons. I was wearing the black and gray Bo Jacksons at this point with the black laces and the gray laces. Double laced, tied, looking fresh to death.
Freshest kid I know.
My first day there, Arlette Ahimastos leaned over and she was like, I like your sneakers. And I was like, I know. I'm fly as shit. Yeah, smart. Fly as shit out this junk. So Rich is I'm talking about something with him, right? And he like reaches over and puts his hand on my thigh. And I'm like, I didn't, it was weird, but it wasn't like completely out of bounds. Right?
It wasn't totally out of character. It was just off guard.
It was just a little bit odd. I'm like, what are you doing? And I keep talking and whatever. And that was the end. And nothing like that was it. I finished and got out of there.
Right.
But I'm like, this dude, something's weird with this dude. Yeah. Something ain't right. I didn't put it together at that point that Tweak wasn't lying, but it was just I'm like, this dude's weird. I'm gonna steer clear.
Yeah.
And then a few years later, there's articles in the paper about Rich so-and-so playing with kids. Mm-hmm. So, you know, just
he should be electrocuted. Like, honestly.
Absolutely.
Like, of the crime in and of itself is horrendous, but to be taking advantage of people
wayward
who are already at their low.
Yeah.
You should be hung up and electrocuted.
Yeah, but
all
that's
at the same time.
I mean, they say that though, is that the predators look for kids who have bad family lives and like. You know,
I understand, like that's their game plan, but to actually be
that guy, yeah, you're a piece of trash.
Doing that, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like there's just so many extra layers of shit.
Yeah.
That you just need to be. There's no saving you.
No. And he like paraded around as like a nice guy, like
cool,
I'm a
nice
priest
guy.
and
help you out, but we can talk about anything. Don't even worry about it. Just knock them up, open door.
But in all reality, you're a scumbag.
Right.
It's a weird. It was a weird place, and that wasn't the only. I mean, that was the only pedophilic story.
Oh, good.
But crooked stories and things like that were not like. That was the, you know.
Right.
That was the rule, not the exception. So, lately, I'm not a guy. I try to tailor my algorithm.
On the YouTubes?
Yeah, on YouTube Shorts. I don't really do Instagram.
Right.
I don't do TikTok.
You're not a Threads guy yet?
I just heard of Threads this morning, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to check it out. I'll let you check it out for me.
At some point, you're not going to have a choice because that's just the way they operate.
You think that's going to be the new one?
Well, it's Instagram's version of Twitter. So at some point, they're going to fold it all into one thing so you have no choice but to look at everything. Right.
Well, if they're arguing on there, I'm out.
Right.
And that's what they do on Twitter. Yeah. So I'm not with the arguments. I try to perfectly tailor my YouTube Shorts algorithm to only show me dirt bike videos and girls with big butts.
Okay.
That's it.
All right. That's a solid algorithm.
Yeah, that's all I really want. I'll take some other stuff. You can sprinkle some cars in there.
A little hip-hop.
Maybe a little B-boy, sometimes some hip-hop. Yeah, you could sprinkle some other stuff, but for the most part, I want butts and bikes, dude.
Yeah.
That's it. And I work hard.
B&B.
Yeah, I work hard to keep my algorithm that way.
Clean.
Somehow, my algorithm has been infiltrated over this past week, and I'm getting flooded with roller skate videos. And I know where it all came. It came from the first one, right? This guy, a regular hipster-looking dude, looks like a stone cold. He looks like a stone cold TikTok furniture maker.
Okay.
Right? This is the kind of guy he looks like. He looks like he's making furniture on the social media, real rare furniture that he's saying that he's fronting like that this is his full-time job, but in actuality, he's like volunteers at the library.
Well, yeah.
And his girlfriend is maybe like a barista.
She's carrying the bills.
They live in basically like a commune, like a New York City. Like they're renting a closet for $1,000 a month. Yeah, and like 10 other people live there. And it's all the same sort of guys. Maybe one of them works at a hardware store, so he wears a lumberjack shirt, like he wears a red flannel, so that you feel as though he's like
legit.
A blue collar guy. But really, the only thing he knows is the actual serial number of each nut and bolt in that aisle.
And they take it an extra step for the legitimacy. It's a real good swerve. They check my website if you're interested in any of the furniture that I'm building.
But then there's no website?
Well, no, there's a website.
Right.
But like the cabinet that he was building is $19,000.
Yeah.
You're either going to figure, oh man, this guy is making a fortune every time he does something. Or there's no way anyone is ordering anything.
Or he's shooting for the stars because he sells one piece a year. He's got to make it count. Yeah. So that guy pops up in his New York City closet with a pair of what appear to be knockoff ponies.
Okay.
Right? Not even, they look like a Nike Blazer High, but they have like a V on the side. So I don't know, maybe they were like Louis Vuitton or something, or a Versace, but they looked like you could have bought them out of Famous Footwear. Didn't look like anything special to me, right? And he turns and looks at the camera, and it pans out, and he snaps a four-wheeled roller skate to the bottom of his Louis Vuitton sneaker, his knockoff Nike Blazer.
2x2 or inline?
2x2.
Okay.
Old school roller skates, right? Snaps them on, and then the next thing I know, he's holding a selfie stick and getting busy in New York City traffic with the title, "Let's see if I can beat traffic to work." And he's swerving in and out of cars. But he caught me because he was playing, I don't remember what the song was. Maybe it was like Shook Ones or something.
Okay.
But he got me with the song, right? And then he's grooving, so I'm like, all right, I come from shuffle skate culture.
Yeah.
You know, we got here at the gig, we got all-star shuffle skaters in the chat.
Yeah.
So if you're new to the chat, just know that you're in the midst of all-star shuffle skate greatness. I won't say who. I'm not going to put him on Front Street. He knows who he is.
Could be anybody.
And if you've been around, you know who he is. So I get caught watching because I'm thinking this guy's going to shuffle skate, do something. Nothing. Just kind of roller skating through traffic as a full-grown man, right? And I'm like, that's pretty gay. But also, I could kind of dig it a little bit, right?
I get it.
I'm a fan of roller skate. I like to get busy at the roller rink. I did just a few months ago at a 5-year-old's birthday party. I had a blast.
There you go. Did you use the PVC cane?
Absolutely not, dude. Here's what happened. I didn't tell you the story, dude.
Yeah.
They all thought they're all coming. All the moms and dads are like out there roller skating. They're like, "You're not gonna skate?" I'm like, "I don't know. I might, man. Probably not." They're like, they go out and skate, and they're like, "Oh my god, I thought this was like riding a bike that you never lost it. Right. This is way harder than I thought." So I'm like, these are tripping. Strapped on the skates. I was out skating everybody in that rink. There was two kids, two 15-year-old kids, one black kid, one white kid, who were obviously at 15 in their roller skating prime.
Right.
And they were the only two who were just a smidge nicer than I was, who had the skill set to like really get funky and flow around that rink.
Right.
Now, roller skating culture, roller rink culture, I'm into it. I like the white ex-wigger who's like 45 years old with a full kind of gray beard and the ponytail, who's always doing roller skate moves on TikTok and Instagram and all that.
Wearing the 4X t-shirt so he looks like he's just gliding across the screen.
Does he wear a 4X t-shirt? Do you know who I'm talking about? The guy I'm talking about?
I don't know that specific guy, but I know that guy. Just looks like he's flowing every time he moves.
Yeah.
He's water.
Smooth. Who's teaching you he made up moves and now he's teaching them to you.
Right.
That's not a real move, man.
Well, I mean, all moves are made up moves, aren't they?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Baxter says, I know that guy. Yeah, he's the one white guy in a black roller rink, and he's always killing it.
Just, yep.
I like him. I respect it, dude.
Why not?
I respect it. So I like that kind of thing. But now, like so many things that we love, roller rink culture has been infiltrated by the Williamsburg hipster elite and now turned into something that I just don't think I can stand by.
Right.
I can't stand by and watch while they make a mockery of the shuffle skate, dude.
Nah.
You can't First off, you're not allowed to shuffle skate until the DJ tells you to.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's like backwards skate.
Until Africa Bambaataa comes on the PA system and the DJ says shuffle skaters only.
Right.
This one's for the shuffle. You're not allowed to. That means no traffic.
Right. There's no practicing beforehand.
No shuffle skating.
You got to come in on a Tuesday and
man.
do it.
Yeah, no shuffle skating in traffic. But now I'm flooded with hipsters attempting to shuffle skate through New York City traffic. It's the same video every time, dude. Advanced shuffle skating. It's the same video every time, and I'm you know.
Yeah, no, I understand. You gotta shut that down.
And Don't Stop the Rock comes on. That's it, babe. So I get a text. Heavy dirt bike. I'm a heavy dirt biker now.
This is your culture now.
This is my new culture, right? And it infiltrates pretty much every corner of my brain.
Right.
While I'm at work, doing a career that I hate.
Yeah. You have not mentioned that before.
Yeah. There's two things that keep me going. Dirt bikes and babies.
Right.
Right? I got 2 babies, 3. I told my wife she counts as my 3rd baby because she said, well, what about me? I'm like, yeah, well, you're kind of one of the babies.
Right.
I'm feeding you, right?
You call her baby every now and then.
Babies and dirt bikes. I got to feed the babies and I got to get a KTM.
Yeah.
So I get a text yesterday from the infamous Mike Cove.
Okay.
My father.
Right.
And what did the first one say? Oh, he says, where are you looking at bikes at?
Okay.
I'm like, I look on Marketplace usually, but if Cycle Trader has like some nicer bikes.
Right.
But Marketplace has some decent bikes too, but they also have like a lot of junkers. So but I like that. I like to look at a junk bike and think to myself, I think I could rebuild that.
I could fix that up.
Like that thing could be fresh if it was rebuilt.
I could make that $4,000 bike be worth $8,000.
More like I could make that $1,800. I could turn that $1,800 bike into a $2,200 bike.
I got car numbers in my head. I apologize, but it's the same deal.
Yeah, I could turn a $200 profit with about 3 months of work on that. With
and about $500 worth of parts.
Yeah. $500 worth of parts, 3 months of work. That $1,800 bike will definitely be worth $2,300. So I tell him that, and then I start thinking, I'm like, let me text him back a little later that day. I said, now, growing up, his nickname was Monk.
Monk?
Monk, M-O-N-K.
M-O-N-K, okay.
Because he was like the goody two-shoes brother.
Okay.
Right? He had Uncle Bobby and Uncle Steve, who both had the option at 18. You could go to jail,
right,
or you could go to the Army.
And they took
so Uncle Bob went to the Army, Uncle Steve went to the Marines.
Okay.
They turned out living some decent lives,
they
right?
Straightened it out.
Yeah. We should do that more often because I think it's a proven thing that works. You send an 18-year-old kid off to the service, it's better than jail. It's very similar,
right,
but better overall outcome.
Right, because it doesn't give the impression of jail.
Right. So I'm like, so I text him back. Is there anything that grabbed a hold of 17-year-old Monk's soul? Right. And he's like, I'm looking. I'm not really sure. I'm just doing some research. I kind of like the KLX, maybe a 250 or a 230.
Okay.
Whatever. So I'm like, well, Pop.
Listen here.
My heart was brimming with happiness and joy. Like, well, Pop, I'm going to tell you what. I like that idea. I'll let you ride the KLX 300. You can get an idea what the power feels like. So you could see, because a KLX is not a super powerful bike. So the 300, even as a beginner, is really where you want to be.
It's still...
That 230, get that thing out of here.
Right.
The 250,
you're getting there.
You're getting there. You could get by on a 250, but go for the 300. You could get it. So we're going back and forth a little bit, and I'm telling him some things I know, and I'm like, yeah, you want to probably, KLX is a dual sport, so if you're looking at dual sports, here's a little article that I found online. Maybe it gives you some ideas. He's like, oh, I don't really want a dual sport. I kind of want a straight up bike.
Okay.
I'm like, well, Pop, maybe you do want a dual sport.
And you just don't know it yet.
Because that plate opens up a lot more trails for you. You can go to Wharton State Forest. You can go to different places that you can't go without a plated vehicle. So he responds to me. He's like, I really would like a KTM, but I don't know. I want to see if I'm going to be involved in this dirt bike thing for a while before I get a KTM.
How old is he?
I say, Pop, we all want a KTM. Now, this is...
Not me.
Here's when you know that you've officially become a man, right?
Right.
In your father's eyes.
Yeah.
Because when your dad looks at you as a man, he is also then not scared to rub in your face how he makes more money than you do. Because I go, yeah, Pop, we all want a KTM. Right. And his response was, yeah, but I could buy one. I'm like, you son of a bitch. You're right. Fair enough.
He's gonna buy two and just park one in the garage just for the heck of it.
I'll steal it. You think I never stole something from you think I never stole one of his vehicles before, dude?
Stole like 20 years of his life.
Huh? I stole one of his cars and crashed it into Wawa when I was 15. You think I won't steal his KTM and then return it gently used? Please.
I was there when you lent it to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
How old is my dad? He is 65-ish, give or take.
Okay.
64, 66. I think he was born in 57, which would make him, I think he just turned 66.
Okay.
I think. Don't mark me because I'm not for sure. But he's about to retire, and he was a car guy in his younger years. He had a Duster that he, worked on and built up himself back in high school.
Right.
He had a plane, his pilot's license at one point, and would fly single engine propeller. So he's like, it's not all that, a bike isn't that far out of his realm of things. And I mentioned to my mom, maybe me and him rebuild a bike.
Okay. I
wasn't really thinking, I don't know how much he's going to want to ride or whatever, but he wouldn't be the first 60-something-year-old guy to get into dirt biking.
No.
I don't think that he's going to get into it on the level that I am. I don't think I'm going to put him on a...
He's not going to go out there supercross.
We're not going to put you on a 300 two-stroke.
Right.
We're not going to get you the Riehu 300 and turn you loose. But maybe you get a KLX 250, ride it around, and decide you want a Riehu 300. Maybe you wind up you retire from work, you base your life around being a dirt bike guy.
Right.
You're rebuilding bikes in the garage. You're working out so you can be stronger on a bike. I don't know. But I was happy to see that he's thinking about it. If he's going to, great. If he doesn't, I'm glad that he's like looking at it as maybe an idea, because I think it would be pretty cool to be able to build.
Ride with your dad.
Yeah, ride with my dad, build bikes with him, whatever we wind up doing.
Yeah.
And then I thought about Husk.
Okay.
The bull Husk bought a dirt bike out of my urging to, right? So I'm thinking, if you had an extra 20 grand laying around right now, we'd have you on a KLR 650 or a goddamn Rieju.
Well, it just so happens I have an extra 20 grand laying around, so that's great.
Very well. I guess waste some of that, dude. Throw some of it away on a dirt bike. So it was just something like, I must exude something in this. Like, this must be a little bit different than all of my other things, right? Because people are going, oh, yeah, I'll get one. I'll ride with you. We could do that. Like, it's clicking to people around me that, like, yeah, maybe I want to get involved in this.
Where other hobbies have not.
Yeah, nobody bought a BMX bike and it's not because I didn't tell people to buy a BMX bike. They just, it didn't grab them, I guess, you know?
I think, and no disrespect to BMX at all.
Right.
But I think it's much easier for a person to dismiss BMX as a kid's thing.
Yeah.
Versus riding the bikes, which crosses over because of the engine.
Yeah. No, and I agree. I know it's hard. It's hard to get it. You have to be a certain guy to get into BMX. I think that
especially as an adult.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think the door opens up much wider when you put an engine on that BMX frame.
Right.
So, Husk is working on his dad, Uncle Steve. I'm working on Uncle Mike.
Finally back from the Marines.
We're gonna see if we can get those old men on dirt bikes. I found a video just happened to pop up on my algorithm that was dirt bikes are better than golf.
Okay.
And the whole video was like this older dude with gray hair, and he's like, the golf shit is whack, my friend. And he just goes into reasons why you should be riding dirt bikes instead of playing golf after you retire.
I can't subscribe to the golf is whack part, but I understand the point.
Yeah. So hopefully my dad gets a KTM, because I'm dying to ride a KTM 150X CW.
He's going to go to sleep with a KTM and wake up with a KLX.
Yeah. Maybe. Because if he gets a KTM and it's a two-stroke and it's like too rowdy for him,
right?
I'll be like, Pop, I got you. Take the KLX.
Look, I'll take the danger. You let me do this for you, Dad.
This one's a little bit safer. You'll feel more comfortable on this learning and all the bullshit.
When you're ready, we'll switch back. It's no big deal.
Yep. And finally, a quick bit of dirt bike news. Grand Theft Auto happened on Columbus Ave last week when a dirt bike crashed into the back of a SEPTA bus. Why is that Grand Theft Auto? Well, that's not. Maybe a bit Grand Theft Auto, to crash into the back of a bus. But as the medics were tending to the dirt bike rider who crashed into the bus, a car pulls up, the passenger hops out, steals the crashed dirt bike, and peels off into the streets of South Philadelphia. Not only is this so GTA, but it's come to be everything that we expect from the city of brotherly love.
That is such a solid move.
Like, I love it, dude.
That bike's just sitting there, I guess. Better get it.
It's my bike now, punk. Just keep it in my yard. I feel bad for the guy who crashed and then got his bike took. But listen, son, if you didn't crash, if you
be a better rider and you'd still have your bike.
If you ain't crash, you'd still have and I bet you, I almost guarantee it was a YZ 125. It seems like everything they're riding out in the city is YZs, dude.
I was surprised. I was coming home from whatever I was coming home from with my son in the car, and we came around the circle at 38 where it goes on the Church Road, and there was like 60 dirt bikes on the street, just sitting there, just all sitting there blocking traffic and revving the engine. So we started looking to see if you were in the collection with them.
I'm not much of a...
You're not a group guy?
I never really ride with the pack.
Okay.
I'm not I mean, if I was riding and the pack happened to cross my path,
so be it.
I'll hop in and ride with the pack.
Right.
But me riding is like I ride with the guys sometimes, and I went down to. Did I tell you about Collins Lakes last week?
Yes.
Okay. I went down and rode with the boys, but I don't necessarily prefer to ride alone.
Okay.
But I ride alone. It's me and my steel horse, baby.
You're there for the nature of it. You're there to get in touch with nature and just have your peace. You don't need to worry about other people.
Get in touch with nature and feel a front wheel in the air.
Sure.
You know? And it's a... Why do I love it? I like being out in nature, for sure, because I don't love the street riding.
Right. You got nature, you got... there's a little bit of unpredictability to it because of the terrain and how it can kick you around a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you have the standard male energy of controlling something that's more powerful than you in reality.
Yeah. I like...
taming the bike.
It's like... not taming the bike, because I don't like a bike that I have to tame.
Well, yeah, but you...
Like a 450, I don't want it.
Taming it as in getting it to do what you want it to do.
Yeah. And it's like it's unnatural. There's something about the unnatural movement of like flying through the woods at 30 miles an hour, or being just flying right up a hill, or my favorite of feelings, getting a little bit of air off of a jump. Like all of those things, you get those feelings nowhere else.
Right.
And they feel good.
Right.
And it's fun. And there's the puzzle of it all, right? Which is why I loved BMX, because you have to, it's small technical tweaks of like the way you move your body to be able to pull off a trick, right? Like some guys make it look easy, but in reality, you're studying and thinking and kind of solving the puzzle of how to move your body to make a certain BMX trick happen. Riding is a similar thing, not tricks obviously, but like to be in control and to feel like, to get to like kind of a flow state of one with your bike and the trail and the nature around you. There's a lot of thinking and technical stuff and all that and whatever.
Right.
I love it. You should love it. I think that most guys, if you can scrounge up $3,000 and get on Marketplace and buy yourself a bike, I believe that 95% of men who did that would not be unhappy with that purchase.
Okay.
I also believe that probably out of that 95%, another 70% would be lifelong bike riders after that.
They'd be hooked.
And then there's probably about 10% who would be as fanatical as I am, and it would control everything that you think about, and all of your goals going forward are associated with acquiring different dirt bikes.
Bigger bikes.
Yeah.
Different bikes, not bigger bikes, different bikes.
All of my goals going forward as far as the Gig Podcast is concerned is to keep you on your toes. Right. So maybe we're here next week.
Or
maybe we're on TWD stroke.
Oh.
Maybe we're in both. Maybe we'll be one night and one the other night.
Could
you
be.
never know. But here's the thing. You got to keep your eye on us.
Right.
Hit the notification, John, and that way you'll know.
Like and subscribe everywhere.
Yeah. Both pages.
Tie yourself into everything.
Both Johns. We're here now. We may not be here again.
Word.
Or maybe we will.
Or maybe we won't.